Welcome to the Activate Change podcast, where transformation is just a conversation away. This is Chloë Faith Urban. I'm the co-director and lead trainer of the LaChiara Method, which is a trauma-informed, oppression-aware healing modality. I'm also the co-host of this podcast. I'm here with Gabrielli LaChiara, who's the founder and creator of the LaChiara Method, and also my amazing co-director and co-host of this podcast. Hi, Gabrielli.
Hi, Chloe.
We wanted to share with you a bit about the history of this modality and also about the vision behind the format of this podcast. So let's start with you, Gabrielli. Can you share a little bit about where this all began and how it's birthed into what it is today?
Sure, I'd love to. The energy inside of this podcast and the work that I'm doing in it really was formed early in my life when I knew, even as a young child, that I wanted to help somehow. Like I wanted to be a part of caring for people on this earth. It started out by wanting to care for younger people and animals, and it birthed all the way into the choices I made around which college I went to and my decision to go to college for psychology and social work. I went from college straight into a career as a clinical social worker for a decade. And wow, that was hard. I was working at the front lines of some of the most intense family dynamics and children's issues and teenagers' issues. And it was meaningful and good. And in some ways I loved it. And in other ways, I really could feel that I was being traumatized by those settings too. And sometimes feeling ineffective. When I got pregnant and birthed my child was the real first turning point for me of like, wait a minute here, there's more than just being immersed inside the systems of social work for me personally. I wanted something different. I wanted a better world for my child. I wanted to take that drive to help others and see how far it could go. So that was like a big turning point for me. The next turning point for me was, when I was diagnosed with cancer. And I was already immersed in working with others. Mother Woman was an organization I had helped to birth. That was a nonprofit for mothers. I kind of was doing a lot of private work with people, but something really shifted. There was this pivot inside of me where I felt like my intuition was the reason I'm alive, and that there was something so deep in my intuitive senses and my knowing. And the more I unleashed myself to trust those parts of myself, the more I wanted to unleash that in others. And so that was a real pivotal moment of, wait a minute, what am I doing anyway? And that began a real life-changing journey to my healer self. Yeah. It was in 2004 with the inspiration of Lori Friedman, who is the co-founder of the original LaChiara Method work, which was called the Infinity Practice at that time, or probably something else even before that. And she's the one who said, let's do this thing. Let's make trainings. Let's come on. You can create more, not just do individual sessions, but let's help others learn what you have as your gift. And let's see if it's teachable. And so that became the real foundation of teaching trainings on this approach, which is now called the LaChiara Method.
Yeah. Yeah.
The podcast is kind of like, after how many years have we been trying to figure out how you help someone to understand what we do?
Right.
Well, it's hard. It's so hard for people to understand what I'm doing. I mean, even though we've been teaching it and training it, a lot of how people learn is through firsthand experience. And so this podcast for me is so vulnerable and exciting to just put what I do, or a piece of what I do, right on your lap here so that you can go through the arc of a session with me and people can listen, feel, hear what's happening in real time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really, as you're speaking, that's the vision of this podcast. We're giving you like a window into these incredible sessions that Gabrielli has been leading for many, 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 many years with people, and that I've had just such profound privilege and honor to be listening and experiencing myself too. And we really found that in the in the trainings and as people actually watched and experienced you in that incredible healer gift that you have, things really started to change and shift for the people listening. Yes, they were learning from you, but also just the transformation that was coming from actually just witnessing, listening, feeling into what was happening in those sessions was really like the big inspiration for this podcast, because we wanted to give you that experience as the listener of what it is to be in these healing sessions, listening in and feeling what's possible and sort of the quirkiness of it all, because it is just different, right, Gabrielli?
Right. Yeah. It took me a lot to be in my work and not try to perfect something, but learn the art of the imperfect, to learn the art of dancing that edge of not knowing and then feeling for an intuitive sense or asking a really awkward question or facilitating through a body-centric, somatic experience for the client. These were very different than how I was taught as a clinical social worker, and and what I love about the work.
Totally. And it's really what to me makes it just radical, different, sort of revolutionary in its own way, because you're in it, and we teach people how to do this. And I do this too, of just what is it to be willing to kind of break the molds, let's say, or the rules around what therapy or coaching or social work might be, and actually be willing to sit in the discomfort with people, to challenge in different ways, to ask questions that make no damn sense in the logical brain, but actually go under and get to the unconscious patternings of people. And, that's to me what's just so different about your work, our work, and what we teach, and is so exciting to be a part of, because it really does start to shift the brain, shift the body into like, whoa, there's like a whole different way of living here. And there's a whole different way of showing up in life, and a whole lot more consciousness that, for me, I realized like, whoa, I'm capable of being that much more aware, conscious of really untangling and untethering, different things that might have blocked me from showing up as fully as I can in the world. And of course, it's an ever unfolding journey, but it's just been such profound work.
Right.
And yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. And really, too, what has been so amazing and remarkable to me that, I can experience you doing this totally out of the box work that feels like I could never learn that, right? And then to actually see over the last 11 years, like, oh, wait, this is actually teachable. Like people are learning this. And yes, it starts with like, the foundations that we teach in this, in our current latest venture of the 200-hour Radical Life Coach training. But, over the last years and the last 4 years of us working together, we've been really in deep curiosity about like, okay, what's the next level? How do we really, really teach this in a way that's learnable? And what's been incredible over this last, rendition of the training is to really witness people like awakening into their healer selves, embodying compassion and presence, and like learning how to ignite that deep intuitive self that I think we all have. And it's just been amazing to watch, right?
I was, as you said, that we all have, I just kept turning in my head to say, it's natural. Intuition is natural. Healing is natural. It's not something we're teaching that our bodies don't know how to do. We do know, and we've been untrained to away from those senses. And so it has been really true. These last Radical Life Coach trainings show us that in 12 weeks, people have life-changing experiences of what it means to hold space for one another, to be present, to facilitate, to have hard conversations, if nothing else, like how to have a hard conversation and show up for it. How to include paying attention to what energy is in a session and how it moves. Like it's just been unbelievable to witness. I have to say myself too, I just love it.
Yeah, I know. It's been so amazing. So as we, invite you into this experience and this podcast, like we really just invite you to have an open mind and a curious heart and, let it just shake you up and potentially stir you into like, oh, wow, what else is possible for me in my own healing and what might be possible for me just in relationship to other as well. And really just inviting you to be in the experience and to really let the healing wash over you. So we're pretty excited.
Can I do a last minute shout out here that the Radical Life Coach training has also is a peer support training. So for people who want to be coaches, have a business, have a practice, great. But what happened naturally is that we also have people who just want to learn the method to peer support and have this community of others who help each other for free all the time to show up and facilitate one another in sessions. And I love that about the work too, that it breeds like a lateral community building support in it. And so it's just so lovely that you can, if you learn this level of life coaching, you can use it anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere you're having a conversation.
Exactly. And it's just been, as you said, the natural thing that has happened in our community over these years is just people come and we support each other and people pair up and support each other on the weekly, all these different ways of supporting each other. And then also, yes, building their own businesses if they want. But it's been incredible. And we're just so thrilled to have this opportunity to invite you in and to give you, a sense of what is possible in healing when you show up with intuition, with a willingness to get uncomfortable, shake it all up. And we really hope you enjoy the experience. So let's dive in.